I woke up to a child calling Mama, Mama, over and over. My head was so heavy I just pulled 2 night shifts at the lab. But wait, I don't have kids. I was married for 3 years to a man who turned out to like other men. We never even held hands. When I opened my eyes, everything was wrong. A skeleton-thin little boy was curled up next to me like a puppy, his face burning red with fever. And this wasn't my bed. It was some broken-down shed with light coming through every crack in the walls. Then it hit me like lightning. Memories crashed into my brain all at once. I had transmigrated into a novel I'd been reading during my break at work. I became Li Xinhua, a woman who was forced to marry a military man named Chen Mingchuan. He abandoned her and their son for 5 years without a single word. And right now my son, they call him Dog, was burning up with a dangerous fever. If I didn't act fast, this fever would turn him into a fool. Then my mother-in-law would sell me off to some old bachelor in the mountains, and I'd die falling off a cliff trying to escape. No way. Not happening. Mama's here, baby, I grabbed him. He was so hot it scared me. The poor little thing kept crying that he was in pain, then immediately said it doesn't hurt because he didn't want to worry me. That broke my heart completely. Tears ran down my face. I had to get him to the clinic. But I had no money, not a single coin. Everything in this house was controlled by my mother-in-law, Old Lady Chen. I ran to her door, shouting that her own grandson was burning with fever and needed a doctor. She cursed me out instead, called me and my son cheap trash, told me she had no money, only her life to give. She even threw something at the door. I was so angry I wanted to kill her. But killing gets you killed too, so I picked up a wooden stool and slammed it against her door instead. She screamed more curses at me from inside. Fine. I grabbed my son and walked out. Chen Mingchuan, let's see what kind of man you really are. You disappeared for 5 years and left your wife and child to suffer like this. Was being forced into this marriage really worth hating us this much? It doesn't matter. I'm not the weak woman who lived here before. I'm Li Xinhua now, and nobody is going to let my child die. Not that evil old woman, not anyone. Second sister-in-law, Wang Mei, looked at us with pity, but she had no money either. She told me to just make some ginger soup for Dog. Ginger soup? My son was burning up this badly, and she wanted me to use ginger soup? I'm a doctor. I know only real medicine can bring down a fever this high. I grabbed my son and ran as fast as I could to the village clinic. Wang Mei chased after me, yelling that I should find the village secretary first to help. But there was no time for that. At the clinic, Dr. Lin Yujie checked Dog's temperature and immediately started yelling at me. How could you let a child get this sick before bringing him in? Are you trying to kill him? He was a sent-down educated youth who had studied medicine for 2 years. His skills were average, but his heart was in the right place. I didn't argue with him. He was right to be angry.
I'm sorry.
You're right to scold me. I was too weak and almost got my child killed.
Please save him.
I'm begging you. I bowed to him. He agreed to treat Dog but warned me he wasn't confident. If the fever didn't go down after the injection, I'd need to rush to the commune hospital. I wanted to treat Dog myself. In my real life, I was a proper doctor. But the original Li Xinhua had no medical background. If I suddenly started acting like an expert, people might think I was possessed by some evil spirit. In this era, that could get me killed. So I kept quiet. While waiting for the skin test, I asked Dr. Lin for some alcohol and cotton to help cool Dog down. He looked a bit surprised but agreed. I looked around the clinic. It was just 2 mud brick rooms with cracked walls, a dirt floor, and Chairman Mao quotes painted on the walls. Everything screamed 1970s countryside. Then I really looked at my son. His face was tiny, his skin yellowish and now flushed red from the fever. He was skin and bones, his fingers looked like chicken claws. He was over 4 years old, but looked barely 3. The only beautiful thing about him was his long eyelashes. My heart ached. In my past life, after my divorce, I never planned to marry again. But I always loved children. Now heaven gave me one. I touched his thin little face and whispered, "Baby, you're a gift to me. From now on, I'm your real mama. I won't let you become a fool." The skin test passed and Dr. Lin started the 4-drip. Then came the moment I dreaded. Comrade Li Xinhua, please settle the bill. He needs at least 2 days of 4 treatment. The total is 2 yuan and 78 cents. 2 yuan 78. I didn't have a single coin on me. My face burned. Dr. Lin, I left in such a rush I forgot to bring money. Can I put it on a tab? He looked uncomfortable. A tab under your name? Can you guarantee I'll actually get paid? Before I could answer, a woman's voice came from the doorway. Dr. Lin, don't be foolish. Even 28 cents is too much for this stupid donkey to pay. Don't waste public property on her. It was Zhao Hohot. Her daughter Zhang Kaifeng had wanted to marry my husband Chen Mingchuan. When the original Li Xinhua married him instead, the daughter ended up with some wife-beating scumbag. So, Zhao Hohot hated me to the bone. She sneered at me and told Dr. Lin that my mother-in-law would never pay, that I was worthless in the Chen family, and that even selling me wouldn't bring in 3 yuan. She said my status as a military wife meant nothing because my husband didn't even want me. I'm warning you out of kindness, she said with a poisonous smile. Don't lose public property and end up getting punished for it. Dr. Lin looked at me standing there in my patched-up clothes, thin as a stick, and went quiet. Everyone in the village knew the Chen family situation. Everyone knew I was just their workhorse, doing all the labor, getting nothing in return. My face was burning red from shame. In my past life, I was an orphan who fought hard to succeed. I got my doctorate at 22, became a team leader at 25. I was never rich, but I never lacked money. And now I couldn't even pull together 2 yuan and 78 cents? In my world, that's less than a cup of milk tea. Other transmigrators get golden finger systems or magical storage spaces.
Me?
I got nothing but this miserable identity. I clenched my fists and told Dr. Lin not to worry. I'll write a letter to my child's father and ask him to send money. Zhao Hohot laughed at me. You don't even know where your husband is, and you want to write a letter? I was so sick of this woman. She only enjoyed life when she was bullying someone weak. I shot her an ice-cold look. This is none of your business. I don't start trouble in the Chen family, but that doesn't mean I'll be soft with outsiders. Stay out of it. Something in my eyes must have scared her, because she actually shut her mouth. Even she understood. A mother protecting her child is not someone to mess with. I borrowed paper and a pen from Dr. Lin and sat down to write. Chen Mingchuan, if you're still alive, please send 2 yuan and 86 cents to Dr. Lin at the village clinic to save your son's life. If you're dead, then it's my bad luck. I'll sell my blood to pay the debt. Li Xinhua. Dr. Lin's face twitched when he read it. He said I shouldn't talk like that to a man who was serving the country. I respect soldiers, I truly do. If I hadn't been so nearsighted in my past life, I might have joined the military myself. But does serving the country give someone the right to abandon their wife and child for 5 whole years without a single word? I looked at Dr. Lin. Tell me, for a man who hasn't come home in 5 years and ignores his family completely, should I be polite? He had nothing to say to that. Meanwhile, somewhere on a bus heading to Jie Province, Chen Mingchuan sneezed twice. An old lady next to him joked that someone at home must be missing him. He thought to himself, nobody at that home missed him. If anything, they were cursing him. He had no warm feelings about that family either. His parents had hurt him, and he wanted nothing to do with that place. He was only going back because he had no choice. And about me, he thought giving me all his savings would be enough to make me let go. He had no idea I was actually cursing him right now. Zhao Hohot couldn't stay quiet for long. She started blaming me again, saying it was my family's fault Chen Mingchuan ignored me. She said he wanted to break off the engagement to follow the new political thinking, but my family threatened to report him as a chinshimi, an unfaithful man, which would have ruined his military career.
So he was forced to marry me.
I'd had enough. I looked straight at her. The engagement was arranged by our elders. What exactly did I do wrong? Should I have just accepted being dumped and ruined my own reputation? Do you know what happens to a woman whose engagement gets broken off in this era? Then I went for the throat. And are you defending Chen Mingchuan because you think if he divorces me, he'll marry your daughter?
Ha!
Don't make me laugh. At least I'm pretty and educated, and we were engaged since childhood. Your daughter? She's got your horse face and can barely read. You think he'd want her? Go to sleep, and maybe you'll see it happen in your dreams. Zhao Hohat was furious. Her daughter's looks were a sore spot, horse face, buck teeth, ugly as sin. Both parents looked fine, but somehow the daughter came out all wrong. And yet that daughter was obsessed with Chun Mingchuan, the best-looking guy in the village. Zhao Hohat raised her hand to hit me. You stupid donkey, how dare you insult my daughter? Dr. Lin stepped between us. Zhao auntie, fighting will get you locked up at the brigade office. You could end up being publicly criticized tonight. I'd advise you to stop. That scared her. She remembered what happened to those bad element types and quickly put her hand down. I wasn't afraid of fighting. In my past life, I'd practiced Chinese martial arts for 15 years. But a fight had to be worth it. Zhao Hohat, I didn't insult your daughter. I just told the truth. If you disagree, let's go find the village secretary and let him decide. She couldn't argue back, so she spat out. At least I'm not the one getting bullied by my own mother-in-law. You're pathetic, I laughed coldly. You're right, I have no power. But you're so tough, right? Then why do you walk the other way every time you see my mother-in-law? Her face went bright red. Everyone in the village knew the history between her and Old Lady Chen. Decades ago, Zhao Hohat had stolen the man Old Lady Chen wanted to marry. Neither of them ended up with him, but they'd been enemies ever since. Zhao Hohat bullied the original Li Xinhua partly because she married Chen Mingchuan and partly because she wanted to use her as an ally against Old Lady Chen. But the original me was useless mud that couldn't stick to a wall. Dr. Lin finally yelled at both of us to stop. This is a clinic, not a boxing ring. Take it outside. Nobody wanted to offend the only doctor in the village, so we both shut up. I sealed my letter, returned the pen and paper, then asked to borrow 8 more cents for a stamp. That's why I had asked Chen Mingchuan for 2 yuan 86. The extra 8 cents was postage. Dr. Lin studied me quietly. I could tell he was confused. The Li Xinhua everyone knew was a silent, beaten-down woman. Now here I was, sharp-tongued and polite at the same time. He must have been wondering what happened to me. He gave me a stamp and offered to mail the letter tomorrow when the postman came. I almost slapped my own forehead. I'd forgotten that in this era, people still wrote letters. In my time, that was ancient history. Zhao Hohat left after buying some more medicine, getting nothing out of her visit. I went back to sit beside my son. While he slept, I wiped him with alcohol and used a special massage technique to help bring his temperature down. Then I started thinking about my future. The Chen family was no place for me. Almost nobody there was decent, and Chun Mingchuan was trash. Whatever happened between him and the original Li Xinhua, a real man solves problems instead of using silent treatment for 5 years. I wouldn't want him even as a gift. The original woman thought if she worked like an ox for the Chen family, they'd eventually accept her, and then her husband would too. She wasn't just foolish, she was stupid. And her stupidity hurt the child most of all. I'm not her. I won't be anyone's workhorse. But how could I get a divorce? He was a soldier, and military marriages were protected by law. The Chen family would never let their free labor go. And running away was impossible. This was 1976. Without travel papers, I'd be caught and treated as a spy. Plus, 2 huge events were about to happen in the country. No way was I going anywhere reckless. This era, this transmigration, what a pain. Mama. My son's small voice interrupted my thoughts. I looked down at him with a warm smile. Baby, you're awake. Are you still feeling bad? He froze. Nobody had ever called him baby before. Only his 4th aunt called her own son that. His eyes went wide with surprise. Mama seemed different today. Mama, I need to pee. I stood up immediately, then realized I was a surgeon in my past life. I'd done the hardest operations, but I'd never handled a little kid needing to pee while hooked up to an 4 drip. How does this even work? Baby, Mama will hold the 4 bag. Can you walk over by yourself? He nodded softly. Yes, Mama. I can. That tiny yes melted my heart. And looking at him closely, I noticed he actually had beautiful features. Especially those big grape-like eyes, absolutely stunning. Just like that, I fell in love with this kid. This transmigration had at least one good perk. This child was now mine. His growth, his future, his everything. I'd take care of it all. As for his father,
Ha.
I had zero interest in picking up someone else's mess. I decided right then, nobody was taking my son from me. The outhouse was a grass shed with wooden boards over a dirt pit. The smell was horrible, but I couldn't let my child pee just anywhere. Dog was only 4 and still wore split-crotch pants. He stood at the edge and did his business, but then his little face turned red.
Ha.
So young and already embarrassed. Kid, I'm your mother. What's there to be shy about? I carried him back to the clinic feeling pretty good. But then a girl walked in. Is Lin Yujie here? I recognized her from the original's memories. Zhao Qingqing, an educated youth sent down from the city. She was the arrogant type who looked down on all the village people. I politely told her Dr. Lin was in the pharmacy next door. But she wasn't here for medicine. She rushed at me.
Li Xinhua.
I heard you came here and couldn't even pay. How dare you get treatment on credit? What was her problem? Since when was seeing a doctor something I needed permission for? Zhao Qingqing, which law says I can't get medical treatment or owe money? Are you a judge? That made her furious. She snapped that I shouldn't drag Dr. Lin down. He had a bright future. She even said my husband might be dead, for all anyone knew. I looked at her coldly. Even if I can't pay, what's it to you? If Dr. Lin gets in trouble, that's between him and me. Why are you so worried? Is he your brother? Or your man? Her face went scarlet. Everyone in the village knew she had a secret crush on Dr. Lin, and he had zero interest in her. I just ripped that curtain wide open.
You.
I'll rip your mouth apart, she screamed. Right then Dr. Lin walked in. Zhao Qingqing, what are you doing? Li Xinhua is a military dependent. Show some respect. She tried to play innocent, saying she was just worried about public property. Dr. Lin cut her off. It's just 2 yuan 78. If she really can't pay, I'll cover it myself. That set her off even more. He was paying for another woman? A pretty married woman at that? She demanded to know why he'd spend his hard-earned money on me. I couldn't help myself. Zhao Qingqing, were you sent here to manage the Yellow River? You're sticking your nose everywhere. If Dr. Lin wants to help me, that's his choice. It's none of your business. And let me be clear, you're not his type. He doesn't like you. Save yourself some dignity. Her face turned red, then green, then white. She stomped her foot, glared at me, and ran off. I turned to Dr. Lin, feeling a little guilty. I didn't ruin anything for you, did I? He scratched his head awkwardly. Comrade Li Xinhua, I'm still young. I came here to build the motherland. Build the motherland. I almost fell over. What a dedicated young man, choosing country over love. But honestly, at 22, he was right not to rush. Especially since in about a year, the college entrance exams would be restored. He'd have much better options then. I smiled. You're right, it is too early. In 1 year, you'll thank me for this. He looked confused but didn't ask what I meant. By 2 in the afternoon, the 4 was done. My son's fever had completely broken. The massage technique I'd learned from an old Chinese medicine doctor in my past life really worked wonders when combined with the medication. My stomach was growling. We hadn't eaten anything decent. For the past 3 days, the Chun family had been feeding us rice scraps and sweet potato leaves, literally pig food. Dr. Lin pulled out the needle and handed me a fever pill for emergencies. If the fever comes back tonight, give him this. And make sure he eats better, his body is way too weak. Eat better? The Chun family barely let us eat at all. But I wasn't the old Li Xinhua anymore. I wasn't someone anyone could push around. Thank you, Dr. Lin. I'll definitely pay you back. We said goodbye and left. The Chun house was about a mile from the clinic. I carried my son on my back and got home in about 15 minutes. The yard was empty. Everyone had gone to work at the production team. In this era, no work meant no work points, and no work points meant no food. Mama, I'm hungry. I was starving too. I kissed his little face. Okay, baby. Mama will make you something. Just hold on a bit. He said, okay, so quietly, just resting on my shoulder. Such a good boy. My heart melted again. But when we got to the kitchen, the pot was licked clean. The entire kitchen had nothing, just a water jar and a salt container in the corner. They hadn't just eaten everything. They'd hidden the food from us. My son started crying. Mama, they ate all the food. There's nothing left for us. I was furious, but I couldn't show it in front of him. I took his hand and walked to the backyard. Lucky for us, I heard chickens clucking. Baby, Mama's going to boil you an egg. His dull eyes lit up instantly. But then he thought of his grandmother's angry face, and the light went out just as fast. Mama, I don't eat eggs. Sweet potato leaf porridge is fine. Sweet potato leaf porridge. That's what we'd been surviving on, pig food. Meanwhile, the original Li Xinhua worked harder than anyone in this house. She slept later than the dogs and woke earlier than the roosters. Her husband sent 25 yuan home every month, more than a village teacher's salary. She earned the work points. She raised the chickens and ducks. And yet she and her son ate slop? No more. Baby, today we're not eating sweet potato porridge. We're having egg soup first, and later Mama's going to cook a duck for you. My son panicked.
Mama, no.
Grandma will beat you to death. I don't want you to die. His tiny voice broke me. It felt like someone was carving my heart with a knife. I hugged him tight. Baby, Mama won't be beaten to death. I promise I'll live. I'll live until you grow up, get married, and have your own children. Really? Grandma won't kill you? I nodded firmly. Don't worry. Last night, a fairy gave Mama special powers. From now on, anyone who bullies us, I'll deal with them. His eyes went wide and shiny. A fairy? He believed me completely and sat down like a good boy. He just really wanted that egg. I found one egg in the chicken coop, freshly laid by a speckled hen. Just one egg for 2 people wouldn't fill our bellies, but it was something. I lit the stove, told my son not to touch the fire, ran to the garden for some greens, and made a vegetable egg soup. No oil, just salt. But my boy ate it like it was the most delicious thing in the world. Mama, this egg soup is so good. Seeing his face glow like that made my heart ache. The original Li Xinhua didn't deserve to be a mother. A real mother fights. No matter how hopeless things look, you don't let your child starve. And that nickname, Dog, my son deserved better. He was my son now, and I wouldn't let him go through life with a name that made people look down on him. Baby, Mama's giving you a new name. From now on, you're Chiniheng. Your little name is E. Do you like it? Of course he liked it. Other kids called him Stupid Donkey and Mangy Dog every day. His cousins told him he was just the family dog, and that was the only name he deserved. Mama, it sounds so beautiful. I love it. I held his little hands tighter.
Good.
If anyone calls you dog again, you tell them your name is Chuniheng. E means standing tall and never falling down, keeping your back straight, never bowing to bullies. Heng means forever. Forever standing tall. Do you understand? He nodded hard. Mama, I remember. My name is Chuniheng. Standing tall and never falling. I won't let anyone knock me down, smart kid. I gave him a thumbs up. Then he asked me something that nearly broke me again.
Mama.
Can I really go to school someday? Like Brother Fuguei and Brother Fuqiang, those were his older cousins, 10 and 8 years old, who both went to school while my son got nothing. Of course you can. You're not just going to school. One day you'll go to university in the capital. Wherever you get accepted, Mama will make sure you go. His face lit up brighter than I'd ever seen. He didn't know what university meant or where the capital was. But he could go to school, and that was enough to make him the happiest boy alive. But even after all that happiness, my boy still looked unsure. He knew Mama had no power in this house. Mama, Brother Fuguei said I'm not allowed to go to school. I have to stay home and work like a little donkey carrying their bags to school for them. Big donkey, little donkey, that's what this family called us. And the eldest grandson was using my son like a servant. My anger rose from the soles of my feet. We are not donkeys. We will never be donkeys. We're going to be useful people, pillars of this country. Now go sleep, baby. Mama's going to kill a duck for you to eat. His eyes nearly popped out of his head. Then he said something that shattered me. Mama, duck meat is delicious, right? I've never eaten it, but I know it smells good. At New Year, I secretly sniffed a bowl that had duck soup in it. It smelled so good my nose almost fell off. My tears dropped. Every single chicken and duck in this house was raised by the original Li Xinhua. but her own son had never tasted meat in his life. I wanted to kill every bird in that backyard right then. Today Mama's going to feed you until you're full. Go sleep. When you wake up, the food will be ready. He closed his eyes and silently wished that Mama would always be this nice to him. I went to the backyard, caught a duck, boiled water, killed it, plucked it, gutted it, chopped it up, threw it in the pot. I grew up learning to do everything, so this was easy. When the soup started boiling, I went to the vegetable garden and found some herbs that help with colds and digestion. I added them to the broth so it would be safe for my sick boy to eat. Wake up. Duck meat. He shot up like a spring. Mama, I'm coming. It was already 4:30. We had to eat fast before the family came home. I sat him at the table and filled his bowl with meat and soup. Eat slowly. Don't burn yourself. He picked up a piece, blew on it gently, then took a bite. His first bite of meat ever. Mama, duck meat is so delicious. When I grow up, I'll raise lots of ducks for you to eat. He was so excited, he almost cried. Honestly, the soup tasted a bit off because of the herbs I'd added. But to a boy who'd never eaten meat, it was the greatest thing in the world. I had to take a deep breath to hold myself together. Okay, baby. Mama will wait for you to grow up and raise ducks for me. You eat too, Mama. He held a piece of meat to my lips.
Such a sweet boy.
A whole duck gave us about 3 pounds of meat. We couldn't finish it all. When my son wouldn't put his bowl down, I rubbed his head. Your tummy just got better. Too much will give you a stomachache. Mama will hide the rest. We'll eat more tomorrow. His eyes lit up like stars. Tomorrow, too. But then worry clouded his face. Mama, we ate Grandma's duck. She'll definitely beat us. When she hits us, let her hit me more. I'm not afraid of pain. This tiny child, trying to protect me. My nose stung with tears again. I hated the original Li Xinhua for being so pathetic, and my heart broke for how brave this little boy had become. But fighting? I wasn't afraid of a fight. I was actually hoping they'd start one. Today, I'd show them what a woman who's got nothing to lose looks like. I kissed his face. Don't worry, E. She can't beat Mama. Before, I just didn't feel like fighting her, so I let her bully me. But now, for you, I won't be weak anymore. If they come, you hide and watch Mama handle them. Okay, Mama. I'll hide under the bed so they can't find me. I almost laughed. Little puppies hide under beds. But for a 4-year-old, that was pretty clever thinking. He ran back to our room on his short little legs. So cute. Heaven wasn't completely unfair to me. This child made everything worth it. After hiding the leftover duck, I climbed into our broken bed next to him. He pressed his little face against my chest and fell asleep in seconds. I closed my eyes too, but before I could drift off, I heard a mess of footsteps coming from outside. Mom, what smells so good? It's meat. Are we having meat tonight? That was Fugue and his sister Baoju, the eldest brother's kids. They came running home from school, noses in the air, and charged straight into the kitchen. But the pot was empty. We'd already eaten. The stupid donkey and her kid ate it all. Fugue stomped his foot. Mom, I want meat. His mother Lu Xiaolan sniffed around the kitchen, and her face went dark. She sent Fugue running to fetch old Lady Chen from the fields. The plan was obvious. Get Grandma back to punish me. In our shed, my little E started shaking. Mama, they went to get Grandma. I'm scared. I held him close and kissed him. Remember what Mama said. I'm an unbeatable Ultraman. Nobody can defeat me. He didn't know what Ultraman was, but if Mama said it was powerful, then it must be. His eyes calmed down. Mama, I'll hide. Don't worry about me. Soon enough, the footsteps came thundering back. Li Xinhua, get out here. Old Lady Chen's voice was so loud it practically shook our shed. She was 51, ate well, never worked, and had lungs like a bull. I patted E gently. Don't be scared. They're no match for me. No matter what happens, stay inside. He nodded. I kissed him one more time and got off the bed just as the door was kicked open. Old Lady Chen stood there looking murderous. You worthless thing. Did you steal meat? I kept my face cold. Old hag, at your age you still don't know basic manners? Does your family even have meat? If there's no meat in this house, What exactly did I steal? Be careful throwing accusations around. That's a political mistake. Her eyes nearly popped out. You dare talk back to me? She called me a cheap woman. I twisted her words right back on her, made her accidentally admit she was calling herself cheap. By the time she figured out what happened, she was hopping mad. Eldest daughter-in-law. Second daughter-in-law. Go beat her. As long as she doesn't die, I'll take responsibility. Wang Mei, the second sister-in-law, kept her head down and stayed quiet. But Lu Xiaolan stepped up to lecture me about respecting elders and how talking back was unfilial. I looked at her. So if she calls you a whore, you'd just accept it? You'd agree that's what you are? Her face turned black with rage. She threatened me with heaven's punishment. I laughed. If heaven really punished the wicked, you'd all have been struck by lightning years ago. Old lady Chen lost patience. Stop talking and just slap her face. Break her mouth. Lu Xiaolan raised her hand and stepped forward. But before she reached me, her foot slipped on something and she went flying face first into the ground.
Ah!
My nose! My nose! Blood was everywhere. I almost burst out laughing. Even heaven couldn't stand watching this woman anymore. Fourth sister-in-law Yuan ran in and screamed when she saw Lu Xiaolan's bloody face. Oh no! Is your nose broken? Old lady Chen panicked and told them to rush her to the clinic. Then she pointed at me with pure hatred. You wait. If anything happens to your sister-in-law, I'll make you pay. She slipped and fell on her own, and somehow that was my fault? I was truly angry now. In my head, I cursed. You evil old woman. Why wasn't it you who fell? Someone with a heart as black as yours deserves to have her mouth smashed. And then, I swear this is true. Old lady Chen's legs suddenly gave out. She crashed to the ground with a thud.
Ah!
My mouth. My hand. My hand is broken. Blood poured from her mouth. Wang Mei and Yi Wan dropped Lu Xiaolan and rushed to help the old woman instead. Nobody noticed me grabbing the door frame as my vision went black. My head spun, and I collapsed.
Mama! Mama!
What's wrong? My son shook me awake. I was sitting on the ground. I touched my forehead, trying to understand what just happened. Did my curse actually work? Did I have some kind of jinx mouth? Whatever I cursed came true. But it hit me back too? What kind of strange power was this? After my head cleared, I actually felt happy. So, I had a small cheat ability. A curse mouth. Whatever I cursed came true, but it hit me back with dizziness. It was weak, but better than nothing. At least heaven hadn't completely abandoned me. I hugged my crying son and kissed him. Baby, mama's fine. Just got a little dizzy. All better now. He'd been so scared, calling my name over and over, and I wouldn't wake up. He clung to my neck, and we sat on the doorstep holding each other tight.
Nana. Yes, Nana.
Mama. Yes. Yes. Just like that, calling and answering, warm and close. Then 3 men came storming in. Li Xinhua, look what you've done. That was Chun Mingxin, the eldest brother. People say first sons are simple, not this one. He was cunning and had a temper. He'd even hit the original Li Xinhua before over food. Behind him came the second brother Chen Mingzhong and the fourth brother Chen Minghua. I set my son down and turned to face them, expression ice cold. Chen Mingxin, you're truly your mother's son. Both of you love throwing accusations without proof. Tell me, what exactly did I do? He stammered.
You
stole meat. Does your family have meat? You'd need to actually have meat before I could steal any, right? He went blank. His son had just yelled, she stole meat, and he'd run back without even thinking whether the family had any meat to steal. The second brother spoke up for me. Big brother, she's right. There's no meat in this house. And she has no money, so where would she get meat? Then their youngest sister Chen Lifang came running from the backyard, panting. She killed one of our ducks. I counted. We're missing one old mother duck. She ate it. All 3 brothers stared at me in shock. The timid donkey they knew would never dare do something like this. I looked at Chen Lifang with contempt. You've been to school, right? You should have read Kong Yi. Even he said a scholar taking a book doesn't count as stealing. I killed a duck that I raised myself. How is that stealing? And let me remind you, I'm a military dependent. If you keep making false accusations against me, I'll go straight to the Commune's Armed Forces Department and file a complaint. The four siblings stood there with their mouths open. This was not the Li Xinhua, who couldn't string 3 words together even if you beat her. Chen Lifeng started screaming. So you've been faking being meek all along. Big brother, don't talk to her. Just teach her a lesson. Let her go complain. I slapped her across the face. The sound echoed through the yard. Everyone froze.
You
hit me? You dare hit me? She couldn't believe it. The fourth brother jumped forward. How dare you hit our sister? I'll deal with you. I blew on my palm like his words were nothing but air. Hitting you was saving you. Falsely accusing a military dependent is a serious crime. You could go to prison for that. Then I grabbed a wooden stick from beside the door, leaped several feet forward, and landed right in the middle of all 4 of them. I stood there like I owned the world. Chin number 4, you want to fight? Come on then. I'll give you 3 free moves. You've all been treating me like a sick cat, but this tiger is done pretending. Your silence made you forget who my grandfather was. Have you forgotten what he did? Come on, one at a time, or all together. Your choice. Their faces changed instantly. My grandfather, Li Jianli. Nobody in the Qin family could speak that name lightly. 10 years ago, their father was working at a reservoir project when rocks exploded during blasting. My grandfather pushed him out of the way and saved his life, but got crushed by the stones himself. He coughed blood and died soon after. That's why the 2 families arranged the marriage between me and Qin Mingchuan. It was a debt of life. Seeing them frozen, I laughed coldly. Cowards. I spun the wooden stick and launched into a full set of the Li family staff techniques, my 15 years of martial arts training on full display, the stick whistling through the air, like a living thing. While I was showing off the staff techniques, the original Li Xinhua's history flooded through my mind. Her father was a live-in son-in-law who married into the Li family. Starting at age 3, the original girl learned staff fighting, boxing, and double blade techniques from her grandfather for 10 straight years. Her grandfather's own father had been a professional armed escort with incredible martial arts skills, and the whole family eventually joined the revolution. They were all martyred. Her grandfather was only 11 when he lost everyone. He survived because his parents had hidden him at his mother's family home. The original's mother, Li Duodi, was the eldest of 3 daughters. She died in a mudslide when the original was just 3. Then, less than half a year later, her father stole the family's precious heirloom and ran off with a widow who'd been married to some old military man in the provincial capital. He abandoned both his children for a pretty face. I made a silent vow. Someday I'd make that deadbeat father pay. I finished my staff routine and slammed the stick on the ground. The bang made Qin Lifeng stumble backward. Pathetic. Only brave when bullying the weak. I knew from the novel that this girl was truly evil. After the original was sold off, Qin Lifeng told Chen Mingchuan that his wife had abandoned their brain-damaged son and run away with another man. Later, she teamed up with some officer's relative who wanted to marry Qin Mingchuan but didn't want the idiot child around. Together, they lured little Yi to a river to catch fish and let him get swept away by the current. I swore I would never let this vicious woman near my son. Mama, you're so cool. Yi ran out and hugged my legs, looking up at me like I was a superhero. Want to learn? I asked, picking him up. He nodded hard. Yes, good. Once you're better, Mama will teach you. But you can't be afraid of hard work. I'm not afraid, and I believed him. This 4-year-old already went to work with his mother every day, cut grass for pigs and cattle. He'd endure anything if it meant becoming strong. My little show of force kept the Qin family quiet for a while. But when everyone came home from work that evening, the chaos started again. Old Lady Qin was howling about her cracked wrist bone. Lu Xilan's face was swollen like a pig's head, her nose possibly cracked, purple bruises around both eyes. She could barely talk without crying from pain. Old Man Qin finally asked what happened. Before anyone could tell the truth, Chen Lifeng jumped in. It was Li Xinhua. She pushed Mom and big sister-in-law down. Lu Xilan nodded immediately. Wang Mei stayed silent. She wasn't going to lie for them. Then Chen Lifeng screamed about the duck. She killed and ate an entire duck. Old Lady Chen erupted. That cheap woman. Get her out here. She's dead. I opened my shed door, ready for round two. But right at that moment, a voice came from outside the courtyard. Hey, what's everyone doing standing around out here? Have you made dinner yet? Look who's come home. It was the village secretary, Zhang Anquan. And behind him stood a tall man in a military uniform, sharp features, over 6 feet tall, towering above everyone. Chun Mingchuan. My heart did a little jump when I saw him. I knew that feeling wasn't mine. It was the last trace of the original Li Xinyue's emotions still lingering inside this body. She had only spent 3 days with this man, but she'd loved him desperately. Old Lady Chen threw herself at him, wailing. My son, you're finally back. If you'd come any later, that woman would have killed me. Look at my hand. Classic villain move. The abuser crying victim first. Her performance broke the dam. Everyone started talking at once.
Fine.
You want to put on a show? I can act too. Let's see who's better. I grabbed my son's hand, pulled him forward, and threw myself crying at the feet of the village secretary. Secretary Zhang, I was wrong. I was so wrong. I should never have forced this marriage just to fulfill my dying grandfather's wish. I was too arrogant, too shameless. I used my grandfather's sacrifice to trap Chen Mingchuan into marrying me. Chen Mingchuan, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I'm willing to divorce you and set you free. Please, be generous and let me and my son go. We don't want to die. I watched Chen Mingchuan's face go white. He was staring at Yi with shock. He didn't even know he had a son. 5 years away, and nobody told him. And now here was this tiny, dark-skinned, bone-thin child who looked like a little beggar. Seeing his reaction gave me more fuel. I cried harder and louder. Chen Mingchuan, please let us go. All I did was kill 1 duck that I raised myself, and your whole family wants me dead. I didn't eat it because I'm greedy. My son was crying from hunger. He's been sick with a high fever for 3 days, and your mother wouldn't give me a single cent for medicine. She cursed him, called him a dead-end bloodline, said he should have never been born. He's just a child. What did he ever do wrong? He's only 4 years and 3 months old. The village secretary Zhang Anquan was stunned. He kept glancing at me, clearly wondering if this sharp-tongued woman was really the same silent workhorse the Chen family had been using for years.
He spoke calmly.
Now, third daughter-in-law, stop crying. Tell me clearly, why does your mother-in-law say you threatened to kill her? You know killing is against the law. I let my tears flow even harder and looked up at him with the most pitiful face I could manage. Secretary Zhang, you can ask anyone in the production team what kind of person I am. I'm more wronged than Do Yi herself. If I really said those words, let heaven strike me with lightning. In the countryside, nobody dared to swear oaths like that lightly. The secretary started to believe me. Then I told him the whole story, how I came back from the clinic at 2 in the afternoon, and my son was starving. How the old woman had locked up the rice container and left nothing in the kitchen, not even a handful of bran. How I had no choice but to kill a duck so my child wouldn't starve. How my mother-in-law came back and immediately ordered the eldest sister-in-law to beat me. How Lu Xiaolan slipped and fell on her own, and how old Lady Chen's legs gave out when she saw the blood. I just didn't want my child to die of hunger. Is that really such a terrible crime? Right on cue, my brilliant Lily started crying too. Mama, I don't want to die. I don't want you to die either. Grandpa Zhang, they're bad people. They always hit me, and Mama. I'm so scared. The whole yard went silent except for our crying. Every single Chen family member stood there frozen. This was definitely not the old Li Xinyue who took every beating without a word. Old Lady Chen panicked. She's lying. When did I ever starve them? Haven't they had food, clothes, and a roof all these years? What a gift. She walked right into my trap. This woman was as dumb as a pig. I wiped my tears and looked at the secretary with quiet dignity. Secretary Zhang, I won't say much. You have eyes. Look at what my son and I are wearing. Look at the shed behind me. That's where we've slept for 5 years. She says she gave us food and clothing. I'm a full laborer in this household. Now compare how we look to how the rest of them look. What have we been eating? Sweet potato scraps and rice bran. The same food they feed the pigs. The secretary's face darkened. He looked at our shed, a broken-down woodshed. While the Qin family lived in a brand, Secretary Zhang looked truly regretful. He turned to Qin Mingchuan. Mingchuan, what do you think? This is your family matter, but if you need the brigade to step in, I won't refuse. Qin Mingchuan had his reasons for staying away 5 years. At first, the memory of being forced into marriage disgusted him. Later, he was away on a military mission that just ended a month ago. He'd come back to settle things. But he never expected to walk into this scene, and he never even knew he had a son. He could ignore me. After all, the original Li Xinyu forced herself on him. But this child was his own flesh and blood, and his parents were treating the boy the same terrible way they'd once treated him. His face went cold. He looked at Old Man Chen. Dad, why are you treating them like this? Whatever she did to me, she's still Grandpa Li's granddaughter. If Grandpa Li hadn't saved your life, you'd be dead. Is this how you repay his family? I send 25 yuan home every month. Why couldn't you even pay for your own grandson's medicine? Am I not your real son? Is he not your real grandson? Neighbors had gathered to watch. Old Man Chen's face turned red with shame. He stammered, Son, it's not like that. I wasn't about to let him wiggle out. Not like that? Let's just talk about the child then. You can claim you didn't know about all the other times I begged for medicine money. But this morning, you were in the room when your wife cursed me and your grandson. You heard everything. Why didn't you speak up? Do you even consider him your grandson? Or does he simply not matter to you? Old Man Chen wanted to say he was afraid of his wife's temper. But the truth was, he never treated us as real family. Old Lady Chen lost it. She raised her good hand to hit me again. Shut your mouth. You have no right to speak in this house. Secretary Zhang's face went black with anger. Wang Akyu. This is the new society. Everyone is equal. Hitting and cursing people is against the law. Your thinking is still old feudal nonsense. Starting tonight, you'll report to the brigade office for ideological reform. You'll be done when I say you're done. Old Lady Chen's legs nearly gave out. Ideological reform. That meant kneeling, being criticized just like those bad elements. She was terrified. Chen Lifang jumped in quickly to defend her mother, asking Qin Mingchuan to say something, claiming things weren't as one-sided as I made them sound. Nice try. But I wasn't going to let her rewrite the story. I cried again, louder, making sure all the neighbors heard. Secretary Zhang, their injuries have nothing to do with me. I swear. They both rushed at me to beat me, slipped, and fell on their own. How is that my fault? The crowd's eyes shifted. 2 women ganging up on one, and people started looking at the Qin family with disgust. Old Lady Qin could only sputter. She's lying. She's lying. Then 4th sister-in-law Yuan tried to help. 3rd sister-in-law, if you hadn't stolen the duck, none of this would have happened. Stolen. There was that word again. I turned on her with ice in my eyes. Yuan, be very careful with your words. Let me ask you, if someone trips over a blade of grass and a cow dies, do you blame the grass? And what exactly is stealing? I raised that duck. I fed it every day. Eating one duck I raised myself. Is that theft? Then I looked at Secretary Zhang. Comrade Yi Wan is accusing a military dependent of stealing. I believe that shows dissatisfaction with the government. She should receive even deeper ideological reform. Yuan went dizzy with rage. That political hat was too heavy for her to wear. I didn't mean that. You're twisting my words. Everyone just heard you call me a thief. Are you saying they're all deaf? Or are you saying I'm not a military dependent? She had nothing to say. Just then, a familiar voice barged in. It was Zhao Hohot. Of course she showed up. But this time, she was actually on my side. That's right. Broad daylight, and they're slandering Xinyu. Secretary Zhang, you've got to be fair. These people have been calling her son dog for years, treating him like an animal. For once, I was genuinely glad to see that woman. No permanent enemies indeed. The whole yard went quiet, waiting to see what the secretary would do. Then Chen Mingchuan spoke up. Secretary Zhang, Li Xinyu is correct. She is a military dependent. Slandering a military dependent is a reactionary act. I recommend Comrade Yi Wan report to the brigade office for ideological reform. This kind of behavior cannot be tolerated. Everyone in the yard was shocked. Chun Mingchuan was actually siding with me? The neighbors couldn't believe it. This was the man who'd been forced into marriage and ran away for 5 years. Now he was defending his wife. I was suspicious too. I knew from the novel how much he hated the original Li Xinhua. She'd forced herself on him on their wedding night, and for a man who'd spent his whole childhood being controlled and bullied by his parents, being forced into anything was the thing he despised most. So, why was he helping me now? There had to be a trick. He didn't even look at me. He calmly told Secretary Zhang that his mother was old and injured, so she should be allowed to do her reform study at home instead of the brigade office. But Yuan, she had to go. Fourth brother jumped up. That's too far. Yuan is your sister-in-law. How can mom stay home, but my wife is to go? Chen Mingchuan gave him an ice-cold look. Did this couple ever think about family when they were bullying his son? Did they ever show kindness when they had the chance? He remembered how this same little brother used to steal food and clothes right off his back when they were children. In the revolution, there's only the enemy and us. No brotherhood, he said. Li Xinhua is a military dependent under military marriage protection. When your wife accuses her of stealing, she's not just insulting my wife. She's questioning the character of a soldier. She's insulting me. Secretary Zhang, am I wrong? The secretary's expression turned serious. He remembered the skinny teenage boy who'd camped outside his door for 3 days begging to join the army, threatening to starve himself if he wasn't allowed to enlist. That was during a tense time when nobody else wanted to go. Now that boy had become a battalion-level officer, the same rank as the commune secretary. A man with a bright future like that deserves support. Mingchuan is right. Slandering a military dependent is a reactionary act. Yuan, starting tomorrow night, you report to the brigade office for ideological reform. If you don't improve, you'll be sent to a labor reform farm. Yuan burst into real tears. The people who went through reform sessions were bad element types. If she got that label, her children could never join the army or become village officials. Her future would be ruined. Fourth brother panicked. He swallowed his anger and begged. Third brother, she's just stupid. She didn't know what she was saying. Please forgive her this once. I swear she'll never do it again. Not a chance. These two had tormented the original mother and son without mercy. Now that I had someone fighting on my side, I wasn't letting them off easy. I spoke up. Chen number 4, you say your wife has a brain problem? Do you have a doctor's report proving that? You're not a doctor. You can't diagnose anyone. Claiming she's mentally ill to avoid revolutionary education is itself a serious ideological problem. I think you should be reformed right alongside her. Secretary Zhang, as the saying goes, birds of a feather flock together. This husband and wife clearly share the same rotten thinking. If they don't both get educated, there'll be bigger problems later. My words hit like a knife. Fourth brother, and Yuan nearly fainted from rage. Secretary Zhang knew exactly what kind of people they were. He waved his hand. It's decided. Tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, both Yuan and Chun Ming will report to the brigade office. If you're late or don't show, you'll face the consequences. Then he turned to Chen Mingchuan. As for the situation between you and your wife, that's your private business. Sort it out yourselves. I'm not getting involved in that, he smiled. It's getting late. I need dinner. Mingchuan, come to my house for drinks tomorrow. And just like that, he left. Secretary Zhang patted Chen Mingchuan's shoulder and walked out through the crowd. The neighbors were all whispering. The Chen family's reign was finally crumbling. Fourth brother and his wife being sent for reform? That was karma. Old lady Chen started wailing about her hand again. She was a bully but a coward. She'd never dare challenge Chen Mingchuan directly. She knew if she made him angry, he'd stop sending money home. Yuan started sobbing and screaming at me. Li Xinhua, you've gone too far. I'll fight you. I almost laughed. Too far? What about when she helped old lady Chen sell the original Li Xinhua? She even took a cut of the money. I gave her a cold look. You slandered a military dependent and now you want to attack one too? Forget the brigade office. You should go straight to the labor reform farm. Secretary Zhang. She's threatening me again. Yuan went silent. Fourth brother looked like he wanted to strangle me, but with Chun Mingchuan standing right there, he didn't dare. Instead, he rushed over and started begging. Third sister-in-law, please. We're family. If we get sent to the farm, everyone in the family suffers. Please forgive her just this once. Family? When did they ever treat us like family? But I knew I was borrowing Qin Mingchuan's power here, playing the fox that rides the tiger's back. I didn't know what his real intentions were, so I decided to wrap things up.
Fine.
Does your wife even know what she did wrong? He shoved Yi1 forward. She gritted her teeth, so hard I could hear them crack. I'm sorry, third sister-in-law. I was wrong. Too quiet. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Wrong about what exactly? She nearly exploded. I shouldn't have bullied you. Everything was my fault. Please forgive me. I'll never do it again. I didn't believe a word of it, but I'd pushed far enough.
Fine.
For the sake of your children, I'll let it go this time. But if it happens again, don't expect mercy. The hatred in her eyes could have burned a hole through me. I pretended not to notice. I had bigger things to think about. Chun Mingchuan was probably here to get a divorce. That was fine, I wanted one too. But there was no way I was giving up my son. The novel said this man was the type to keep even a brain-damaged child by his side. Getting him to let go of E wouldn't be easy. I needed a plan. My little boy was clinging to my leg, his face pressed against me. He was exhausted and scared. I bent down and took his hand. Baby, let's go back to our room. He nodded. Mama, those bad people, I don't like them. Me neither. But remember, E, we don't bully the weak, and we don't fear the strong. If people don't bother us, we leave them alone. But if they come for us, we never forgive. He raised his tiny fist. I'm not afraid. Then Chen Mingchuan's voice came from behind. Wait. I stopped and looked at him. I had to admit, the original girl had her reasons for falling for him. He was tall, sharp-featured, deep eyes, straight nose. Very masculine. But handsome or not, he was still a heartless man. What is it? My coldness surprised him. His expression flickered. Li Xinhua, you really want a divorce. What do you think? Do I seem like someone who says things she doesn't mean? He looked at the big 5-room brick house behind him, then at the broken straw shed where I slept.
He didn't know what to say.
That's not what I meant. I didn't care what he meant. I wasn't going to live the original's life or love a man who despised her. And I could feel it. Even the original's last traces of love for him were gone. Years of suffering had squeezed out every drop. She didn't even hate him. She was too honest, too kind, too weak to hate anyone. What a pitiful woman she'd been. To be honest, I didn't like the original Li Xinhua at all. She was a mother who couldn't even protect her own child. On the wedding night when the drugs were used, she could have stopped it, but she didn't. Looking at Chen Mingchuan's face in the fading evening light, I took a deep breath. As a third party now living in this body, I understood his side. He was a man who'd been drugged and forced. Of course, he'd be angry. But the past was the past. Time for both of us to move on. I don't care what you meant, and I don't want to know, I said. I'm a military wife, and I stand by my words. I don't know why you helped me today. But I know you don't want to see me, and you didn't come back for me. Chen Mingchuan, let's divorce. We're both young. Let the past go. This isn't anger or resentment. This is what I've thought about during 5 years of being worked half to death, every single day and night. I know me asking for divorce might embarrass you. You can tell everyone it was your idea. His eyes went wide. He was shocked because one of his reasons for coming home was exactly this. He'd never told a soul about his plan to end this marriage. How did I know? He also noticed something else. My eyes were different. The old Li Xinhua's eyes used to light up like stars whenever she saw him. Now there was nothing. No love. No longing. No warmth. Just emptiness. And it wasn't fake. Strangely, even though divorce was what he wanted, something inside him suddenly felt uncomfortable. He couldn't explain why. To avoid answering, he looked down at Yi. Is this our child? I kept my face blank.
No.
This is my child. You only provided a seed. I'm the one who raised him for 4 years. He has nothing to do with you. Chun Mingchuan, I mean every word. This child is mine. You cannot take him. I have no other demands in the divorce, no money, no property, nothing. My only condition is that E stays with me. If you don't agree, I'll drag this marriage out forever. And if you try to force a divorce, I'll hang myself at your army base gates. His mouth twitched. This woman was fierce. He crouched down and reached out his hands to E with a gentle face. What's your name, little one? I'm your daddy. Come to me. E's reaction was instant. He stepped in front of me and blocked Chen Mingchuan with his tiny body. You're a liar. I don't believe you. My uncles and aunts and cousins all told me my dad is dead. I have no father. Mama, hide behind me. I'll chase this liar away. I'm a man. I'll protect you. Chen Mingchuan froze. His own family had told his son he was dead. His parents, his brothers, his sisters, they all let this child believe his father was gone. They probably wished it were true. The only thing they cared about was the 25 yuan he sent home every month. But then something in his face softened. This skinny little boy who was nothing but bones and skin, this was his son. His own flesh and blood. He wasn't alone in this world anymore. I saw his face darken and got nervous. If he lost his temper, he might scare E. Whatever happened between the adults, the child shouldn't suffer for it. Chen Mingchuan was still Yi's biological father, and no matter how I felt about this man, I wouldn't stop my son from knowing his dad. That wouldn't be fair. I could give up this man, but I couldn't decide for my child whether to accept his father or not. E, listen carefully. He really is your father. He didn't come see you because he didn't know you existed. And because Mama did something that hurt him. Hurting an innocent person was wrong. That was all Mama's fault. But because I got you from it, I'll never regret it. I looked at Chen Mingchuan. His name is E. Full name Chen Yiheng, standing tall and forever. Before that, he was just called Dog with no real name. I gave him this name. I like it, and he likes it. Chen Mingchuan's eyes darkened when he heard the nickname, Dog. He knew his parents had given his son that name because in their eyes, his child was no better than a dog. It's a good name, he said quietly. E, your mama has good taste. Can I call you that too? My boy had always wanted a father. Kids with dads don't get bullied. But this man had never come home, so he couldn't be real.
No.
Mama gave me that name. You can't use it, uncle. Uncle. That word hit Chen Mingchuan like a punch. He deserved it. I didn't have time for his feelings. He brought this on himself. 5 years, and he never once asked about us. Why should he walk in and instantly get to be Dad? I carried E inside and told him to rest. Then I went to collect our laundry. 2 sets of clothes, both covered in patches, still damp from the rain. I started a fire in the corner to dry them. Chen Mingchuan came out of the main house. He looked at the ragged clothes in my hands. You only have 2 sets. Yes. My third aunt bought them when I got married. I kept my voice flat. Don't feel guilty. It's not your fault. I brought this on myself. He went back inside. A few minutes later, he returned holding a stack of cash. Take it. I blinked. Breakup money, his face flushed. It was supposed to be exactly that, money to make me go away quietly. But now there was a child. Household money, he corrected. I wouldn't take it. I was desperate for money, but my pride wouldn't let me. I know what this money is, and I know you mean well. I should take it to ease your conscience. But if I do, I'd be dishonoring my grandfather's memory. Dignity isn't worth much, but you can't just throw it away. We both made mistakes. Let's call it even. And don't think this is some trick to make you chase me. It took 5 years of slavery to finally see things clearly. I'm not trying to get your attention. He stared at me.
You.
Never used to talk like this. Something hit me inside, a wave of pain that wasn't mine. The original Li Xinyue's last feelings were stirring. I begged her silently. You're gone. Please stop pulling at me. But the turmoil got worse. My face must have shown it because Chen Mingchuan stepped forward. What's wrong? Are you okay? I forced it down.
I'm fine.
I won't die. Then I let the original's feelings flow through my words one last time. You didn't really know me before. I was young, insecure, and knew I wasn't good enough for you. Because I liked you, I made myself small. Because I liked you, I threw away everything. Because I liked you, I ended up hurting you. I'm sorry. It was my first time liking someone. I didn't know that one-sided love could be a weapon. I apologize. These 5 years, I slept later than dogs, woke earlier than roosters, worked harder than oxen, ate worse than pigs, and dressed like a beggar. All to pay for what I did. Chen Mingchuan, I forced you. You abandoned me for 5 years. We're even now. Tomorrow, let's go get divorced. His hand froze in midair. Something flickered across his face. Confusion, maybe. The girl who once looked at him with stars in her eyes was gone. And somehow, the woman left behind unsettled him. Second sister-in-law Wang Mei came out. Dinner's ready. I shook out the wet clothes. I won't eat. And I won't work for this family anymore. Starting tomorrow, don't bother cooking for me and my son. Second sister-in-law, Chan Mingchuan, and I have already agreed. Tomorrow morning, we're going to get divorced. Wang Mei looked stunned when I said we were divorcing. She was about to talk me out of it, but Yuan beat her to it. Oh please, third sister-in-law. You know military marriages can't be dissolved without the army's approval. You're just threatening him, aren't you? All these years, you'd fight anyone who said he didn't want you. And now you want a divorce?
Ha!
I didn't know you were this cunning. I looked at her with pure contempt. Did this woman already forget what just happened? Her wound hadn't even scabbed over, and she was picking another fight? You're right about everything, I said calmly. I never argue with dogs. If a dog bites me, I'm not going to bite it back. She exploded. You're calling me a dog. Actually, I was giving you too much credit. A dog at least knows gratitude. I did your share of work for 2 years, and you repaid me with cruelty. Comparing you to a dog is an insult to dogs. She charged at me, but Chen Mingchuan's voice cut through the air. Fourth sister-in-law, your ideological awareness is truly terrible. You can't stop bullying people. I'm going to tell the secretary. You should go to the labor reform farm instead. Yuan crumbled instantly, sobbing and begging. Fourth brother was furious at his own wife for being so stupid. Couldn't she see the situation had changed? If she wanted revenge, she should wait until Chen Mingchuan left. He forced her to apologize again. She was shaking with rage, but finally bent at the waist.
I'm sorry.
Please, for the sake of my unborn baby, give me one more chance. She was pregnant. I couldn't send a pregnant woman to a reform farm. So instead, I stretched out my foot and snapped a thick wooden stick in half with one stomp.
Get lost.
Don't come near me again, or you won't be able to handle what comes next. Her face went white. She turned and fled inside. She'd been bold enough to bully the old Li Xinhua, but she'd always been terrified of Chen Mingchuan, a man who'd fought wolves at age 10. Chen Mingchuan watched her go, then asked me quietly, "Does she bully you often? Why? Want to get revenge for me?" I shook my head. Don't bother. After the divorce, I'll never see any of them again. The past was just a dream. Time to wake up and start fresh. Something in his expression shifted. He seemed bothered by how easily I talked about leaving. Li Xinhua, you really want this divorce that badly? Have you thought about what happens to a divorced woman? Consequences? A bad reputation, sure. But divorce wasn't murder. I don't care. No consequence is worse than a lifetime of unhappiness. Chen Mingchuan, don't tell me you didn't come back to get a divorce. He denied it. I came back because I haven't been home in years. That's all. Liar. I knew from the novel that divorce was exactly why he'd returned. But he wouldn't admit it.
What was he playing at?
I kept pushing. You don't need to force yourself to stay married because of the child. You don't have to play saint. You have your life. The child has his. I'll raise him well. I won't stop him from knowing you. I won't tell anyone you abandoned us. We'll say it was mutual. Nobody will even know you were ever married. Was I really that eager to leave? He'd wanted a divorce for years. But being pushed into one by me was a completely different thing. Chen Mingchuan, the man who hated being forced into anything his entire life, suddenly got angry. Too late. Too late? I didn't understand. What do you mean? Everyone in my unit knows I'm married. My superiors are pushing me to bring you to the base as a military dependent. Li Xinhua, I'm not divorcing you. Military transfer? Was he serious? The novel never mentioned this. I stared at his face, searching for any sign of a lie. You're telling me you came back specifically to arrange my transfer to the military base? Not to divorce me. The truth was, he absolutely came back to end our marriage. But now that he'd seen his son, skin and bones treated like garbage, he couldn't do it. He'd grown up without his parents' love. He wouldn't let his child suffer the same fate. His cold eyes locked onto mine. When did I ever say I wanted a divorce? Did I write it in a letter? Did I call and say it? I'm not the kind of man who makes things up. Would I joke about military transfer paperwork? His outburst actually stunned me. The novel clearly stated he came back a year later to divorce. But here he was a year early claiming the opposite. Could a character just rewrite his own story? No way. I wasn't foolish enough to believe I'd charmed him in one evening. He was just angry that I'd asked for the divorce first. His pride couldn't handle it.
Fine.
If that's how he wanted to play it, I'd play along.
I'm sorry.
I shouldn't have doubted you. Since you're here to arrange my transfer, let's get started tomorrow. You must have brought the introduction letter and application forms, right? What do you need from me? His face twitched. How did I know about those documents? He was probably wondering if I'd researched the whole process. Now he suspected my divorce talk was just a trick to make him chase me. He hesitated. I could tell he was shocked by his own impulsive words. The famously calm and collected soldier had been goaded into a promise by a few sentences from me. This wasn't like him at all.
It's not that fast, he said.
There's a political background check first. Another background check? We already had one when we got married. Liar. But I didn't care if he was lying. If this transfer could get me out of this village and closer to the city, I wanted it desperately. His base was near G-City. I wasn't going to farm forever. Cities meant people, and people meant opportunities. I'd made up my mind. Transfer first, divorce later. You should know my grandfather's family produced 6 revolutionary martyrs. My political background is spotless. Do I need to get documentation for that? Then I added sweetly. But please, don't act on impulse. This is serious business. Once you bring us to the base, divorcing will be even harder. That stung him. Me calling him impulsive, the man who prided himself on cold logic. But he clenched his fists and made his decision. My unit is special. The paperwork won't be fast. But don't worry about it. I'll handle everything. I'm a man of my word. Huh? The ancient wisdom was right. Provoking someone works better than begging. I felt a little thrill of victory. G-City, here I come. But while we were talking, Yuan had been eavesdropping. She bolted straight to old lady Chen's room.
Mom.
Big news. Third brother didn't come back just to visit. He's here to take that stupid donkey to live at the military base. Old lady Chen nearly exploded. Absolutely not. No transfer. Over my dead body. Yuan was seething too. Her own relative had married a soldier and moved to the base last year. That woman came back for New Year looking plump, well-dressed, and happy, doing nothing all day, spending her husband's good salary. Why should Li Xinhua get that life? No way, Mom. We can't let her go. If she moves to the base, third brother will never send money home again. Old lady Chen came charging out of her room the moment she heard the news. If you dare take that woman to the army base, I'll die right in front of you. Chen Mingchuan's face went blank. His own mother, always threatening suicide to get her way. But old man Chen surprised everyone. He grabbed his wife and scolded her. Shut up, old woman. Military family transfer is a national policy. The government does this to keep soldiers' hearts steady. You want to go against government policy? Then you can join fourth brother's wife at the brigade office for reform tomorrow night. That shut her up fast. She'd personally been one of the most enthusiastic people at past struggle sessions against reactionaries. She knew exactly what happened to people dragged up there. The thought made her scalp tingle. I noticed something interesting. Old man Chen was being unusually supportive of Chen Mingchuan. Too supportive. Something about a longevity lock that Chen Mingchuan had asked about earlier seemed to have rattled the old man. He was scared of something, and that fear was making him take his third son's side for once. Yuan wasn't giving up, though. Dad, the army doesn't force families to transfer. If the family disagrees, they can't make us. Mom's hurt, big sister-in-law's hurt. If third sister-in-law leaves too, who's going to work? We'll be in debt by year's end. Old Lady Chen jumped on that. Exactly. If daughters-in-law all run off to the army, who takes care of the parents? Old Man Chen barked at her again. You think this is the old society? A daughter-in-law isn't your servant. If you dare oppose government policy, you're a reactionary, Chen Mingchuan added coldly. Mom, Dad's right. Your old-fashioned thinking needs to stop. If people hear you opposing military policy, you'll be dragged to the brigade for public criticism. Opposing military family transfer is a reactionary act. Old Lady Chen remembered the wooden signs hung around people's necks, the airplane position, torture, and finally went silent. But the rest of the family was seething. Chen Lifang was the most jealous. She desperately wanted to see the outside world, concrete roads, city life. And now this woman she despised was going to live that dream instead? She pulled Yuan aside with a sly smile. Fourth sister-in-law, I have a plan. Yuan's eyes lit up. What plan? I'll tell you later. Those two were scheming to stop my transfer. But even if I'd known, I wouldn't have cared. The truth was, I wanted to leave this village more than anything. Not just for a better life. I was afraid someone would notice I wasn't the real Li Xinhua. Country people in this era were deeply superstitious. If they figured out I was different, things could get dangerous fast. As for the divorce, I could take my time. Chen Mingchuan only changed his mind about divorcing because of our son. Once he found his true love, the female lead from the novel, the child wouldn't matter as much. That woman could give him new children. When that happened, I'd throw money at them and let them have as many babies as they wanted. Then nobody would fight me for E. I sat by the fire drying our patched-up clothes and smiled to myself. That's the plan. Transfer first, divorce later. I didn't mind being a ready-made mom. In fact, I quite enjoyed it. I've always been a determined person. Whatever I set my mind to, I get it done. When I was 6, the orphanage director told me that studying hard would change my destiny, that one day I'd be able to eat whatever I wanted. So I studied like crazy. I had a natural gift for memory and understanding. I took the college entrance exam at 14, finished all my studies by 20, and became a teaching assistant. The director was right. Eventually, I could buy whatever food I wanted. So I was confident. If I wanted this divorce, I'd get it eventually. While the Chin family ate dinner, I bathed my son, washed myself, and went straight to bed. My body was exhausted. This soul and this body had only been together for one day. When Chen Mingchuan came out of the main house, our shed was already dark. Every house in the village had electricity now. Every house except ours. What I didn't know was that the second brother, Chen Mingzhong, came out and offered Chen Mingchuan his room for the night. His wife could sleep with the kids. The second brother was the only decent person in this family. He'd always been troubled by how his parents treated Chen Mingchuan. And he knew a secret nobody else in the village knew. When it was time for military service, the eldest brother was supposed to go. But he threw a fit, threatened to kill himself rather than join the army. The second brother was already a strong worker, so the parents wouldn't spare him either. Instead, they forced 15-year-old Chen Mingchuan to go in the eldest brother's place. They told him if he didn't get selected, he should never come home again. Everyone in the village thought Chen Mingchuan volunteered. Nobody knew his parents had thrown him away. Meanwhile, inside the main house, Chen Lifang was screaming about not wanting to give up a room. Old Man Chen yelled at her to shut up or sleep in the pigsty. She ran off, crying into the night. Old Lady Chen panicked and sent fourth brother to chase after her. Once they were alone, Old Lady Chen turned on her husband. What's wrong with you today? Why do you keep siding with that boy? Old Man Chen's face darkened. Because he asked about the longevity lock. Old Lady Chen's jaw dropped. The longevity lock, some kind of secret connected to Chen Mingchuan's past that clearly terrified both of them. How does he know about that? She stammered. He didn't say. He just told me to hand it over. Said if I don't, he'll never send another son home. And if we cause trouble, he'll expose the truth about how we faked the eldest son's illness to force him into the army instead. Old Lady Chen went white. If that came out, the eldest son could be sent to a labor reform farm. Their whole family's reputation would be destroyed. And without Chen Mingchuan's monthly 25 yuan, there'd be no money for anything. That money had paid for the entire 5-room house they were living in. "Did you agree to give it to him?" she asked nervously. Old man Chen looked miserable. "How can I agree? The thing is lost. Even if I wanted to give it to him, I can't find it." Old Lady Chen started cursing her son for still caring about that little thing after so many years, but Old Man Chen cut her off. "Shut up. Whatever secret that longevity lock held, it had the power to shake this entire family. And both of these old people were scared to death of their own son finding out the truth. What I didn't know while I slept was the drama unfolding inside the main house." Old Man Chen sat on the doorstep smoking his pipe, staring at the stars, lost in memories from over 20 years ago. When Chen Mingchuan was 5, Old Man Chen's own mother had handed the boy over to him along with a gold longevity lock, some kind of keepsake. She'd done it right in front of the child, which is why Chen Mingchuan still remembered it after all these years. Old Man Chen's parents had warned him repeatedly, never sell that lock, or something terrible would happen. So no matter how poor they got, he never touched it. But now Chen Mingchuan wanted it back. And it was gone. He stormed back to the bedroom. "Was it you who took the lock?" Old Lady Chen nearly jumped off the bed. She confessed she'd moved it from the old box when they were building the new house, worried someone might steal it. But when they moved into the new house, the lock had vanished. She'd been too scared to tell her husband. Old Man Chen was furious. Now he'll stop sending money. Get ready for hard times. Old Lady Chen threatened to sue her own son for being unfilial. But Old Man Chen shut that down immediately. They couldn't go public. Their dirty secrets would come out. The clan elders knew too much. And Old Lady Chen had her own skeleton. She'd once stolen grain from the production team, and the clan patriarch had caught her. He only kept quiet for the children's sake. "Then don't let that stupid donkey go with the army," Old Lady Chen insisted. "Keep his wife and child here. He'll have to keep sending money." Old Man Chen shook his head. "Can you stop him? He's powerful now. Cross him, and he'll have you dragged to the brigade for public criticism. Without the lock as leverage, we've got nothing." Old Lady Chen slammed the table. She started cursing Chen Mingchuan, calling him a wolf cub. But Old Man Chen cut her off. "Shut your mouth. If he hears you, we're finished." There was a deeper secret here. From the old couple's conversation, it was clear that Chen Mingchuan might not be their biological son. Someone had brought him to them as a baby with that gold lock, probably left as a way to identify him later. But nobody had ever come looking for the child. Old Lady Chen hoped whoever abandoned him was dead, because that would mean nobody could ever take him away, and she'd remain his mother forever, keeping her hold on his money. That night, Chen Mingchuan sat alone on the woodpile in the yard until midnight. When fourth brother and Yuan finally returned from their reform session at the brigade, he went to the river to wash up. Back in his room, stripped bare by his family, just a bamboo mat on the bed, no pillow, no mosquito net, he used his military bag as a pillow and closed his eyes. Then suddenly, Yi's screaming cut through the darkness.
"Mama."
"Mama." Chen Mingchuan shot out of bed and ran to our shed. My son was crying hysterically. I was curled up on the bed sobbing uncontrollably in my sleep, burning with fever. When Chen Mingchuan touched me, he flinched. The temperature was dangerously high. "Yi, your mama is very sick. I need to take her to the hospital right now. Can you go stay with your great-aunt?" I was unconscious through all of this. The original Li Xinyue's body and my new soul, we'd only been together one day. My body was breaking down, and somewhere deep inside, the original was crying out, pouring all her years of pain and suffering through me in one final wave. My son was terrified. "Daddy, is Mama going to die?" Chen Mingchuan shook his head firmly.
"No."
"I promise your Mama won't die. Be good and go stay at Grey Tant's house, okay? As long as Mama wouldn't die, you would do anything." He nodded. What happened next, I only learned about later. Chen Mingchuan woke up second brother and asked him to take Yi to the clan uncle's house. When second brother heard it might be pneumonia, his face went pale. That was a serious illness. The village clinic couldn't handle it. The two brothers carried me through the dark on a 7-mile journey to the commune hospital. The road was rough, and they needed a flashlight just to see. Out of the entire Chen family, only second brother and his wife got up to help. Everyone else stayed in bed. They hooked me up 2 and 4 all night, but my fever wouldn't break and I couldn't wake up. By morning, the hospital got nervous. I was a military dependent, and if something happened to me on their watch, there'd be trouble. They transferred me to the county hospital. Back at the village, the clan Aunt Wang Sui Miao came over to check on me. When second brother told her I'd been transferred to the county hospital, she was shocked. She offered to send something for me, but old lady Chen shut her down immediately. Go where? We have work to do. Work points don't fall from the sky. Wang Sui Miao's face went dark. Her own family was struggling. One son disabled, one daughter-in-law who'd remarried and left, 9 mouths to feed on 2 workers' earnings. But she had dignity. Sister-in-law, my family may be poor, but we don't bully honest people. Your heart is so crooked. Heaven will punish you someday. She walked away. Old lady Chen cursed after her, and Chen Lifang stirred the pot even more. That old busybody. She just wants to get close to third brother for his money. Old lady Chen was so angry, she said something truly vile. That wolf cub should have been thrown on the mountain to feed the wolves. She even cursed Chen Mingchuan's military service, hoping he'd be killed by artillery shells. If I'd heard that, I would have been even more certain he wasn't their real son. Yuan had spent all night in bed cursing me, hoping I'd die. Now, she joined the scheming. Mom, as long as we keep that stupid donkey from transferring to the base, third brother will have to keep sending money. Old lady Chen offered a deal. Whoever came up with a plan to stop my transfer would get 2 yuan per month in pocket money. That was more than a village teacher's monthly salary in a year. Yuan's and Chen Lifang's eyes lit up like stars. Then Lu Xilan, her face still swollen like a pig's head, spoke up. I don't think third brother came back to arrange a military transfer at all. I think he came back to get a divorce. You know how much he hates that woman. That clicked for everyone.
Yuan slappet här for det hat.
He only changed his mind because of the brat. If we get rid of her, he can't bring the kid alone. Soldiers are gone for months at a time. Old lady Chen's eyes gleamed. So, how do we get rid of her? Everyone started thinking. Then Chen Lifang smiled. I have an idea. A classmate of mine, her family was poor, her brother was nearly 30 with no wife. So she did a bride exchange. We don't need a bride exchange, Yuan said. What's the point? Chen Lifang looked around and lowered her voice. Who said anything about an exchange? There are plenty of men who can't find wives these days. What if we just sell Li Xinyue? What I didn't know while I was unconscious was that the women of the Qin family were hatching a plan to sell me. Yuan's eyes lit up when Chen Lifang suggested it. Great idea. My second brother knows people in town. They'll have connections. Old lady Chen slapped her thigh with excitement. Perfect. Find a family where several brothers have no wives. They'll pay top dollar. Lu Xilan, despite her swollen pig face, was the cautious one. She warned them this was illegal and that Chen Mingchuan was a soldier. If he found out, he'd throw them all in prison. So they agreed they needed to lure him away for a few days first. Old lady Chen volunteered to handle that part. He's on leave for about a month. We just need 2 or 3 days. As long as we leave no evidence, he'll never find her. Chen Lifang added one more detail. Make sure you find a really violent family. Otherwise she'll escape. They all agreed, practically seeing the money already. What these fools didn't realize was that I wasn't the old Li Xinyue anymore. If they ever tried this, I'd make them regret it for the rest of their miserable lives. Meanwhile, the whole village was buzzing with gossip. Everyone knew Chen Mingchuan was back and his wife had been rushed to the county hospital. People whispered that he must have come back to divorce me and that the shock of it had made me collapse. The village women clucked their tongues. A divorced woman's life was ruined, they said. People would talk behind her back forever. I knew none of this. I was unconscious for 2 full days. When I finally woke up, it was because my bladder was about to burst. My eyelids felt like they weighed 100 pounds. As a doctor, I knew I was seriously ill. Awake, a deep voice reached my ears. I opened my eyes and saw Chen Mingchuan's face. He looked terrible, dark circles under his eyes, clearly hadn't slept in days. Where am I? County hospital. You have pneumonia. You've been burning with fever for 2 days and nights. It just broke not long ago. Pneumonia. In this era, that was a killer. The antibiotics available now were limited. If the fever hadn't come down, I could have been in real trouble. Even with my medical knowledge, without proper drugs, I was helpless.
My first thought wasn't about myself.
Where's E? He still needs his second for treatment. Chen Mingchuan's expression softened a little. The first thing I asked about wasn't my own illness, but my son. He's at Uncle's house. Annie took him for his injection. Good. The clan uncle and aunt were decent people. E was safe with them. I relaxed. I need the bathroom. I'll help you up. The hospital rooms didn't have private bathrooms. You had to walk to a shared one outside. I had zero strength, so I couldn't exactly be picky about accepting help. We didn't have to be husband and wife, but we could be civil. I sat up. Chen Mingchuan moved to support me. And then his scent hit me. Clean, fresh, masculine. In my past life, I'd been around men, but I'd never smelled anything quite like this. My brain short-circuited for exactly 1 second. Then I shoved him away.
I'm fine.
I can manage. He'd actually been carrying me for 2 days from the village to the commune hospital to the county hospital. He'd stopped thinking of me as a woman and was just treating me like a patient. But when I pushed him away, he suddenly remembered I was female. His ears turned slightly red. He walked me to the bathroom door in silence and waited outside while I went in. After using the bathroom, I stopped at the mirror in the washroom. It was the first time I'd actually seen my new face. And honestly, not bad at all. Small face, straight nose, double eyelids, long dark eyebrows. Despite working in the fields every day, the original wasn't dark-skinned. She was actually quite fair. If I could just gain 10 pounds and put on some decent clothes, this face would be genuinely beautiful. No magical system, no storage space, but at least I got a pretty face out of this transmigration. I'd take it. Chen Mingchuan was still waiting outside when I came out. He offered his arm and I took it. My legs were too weak to argue about pride. Back in the room, he handed me a tin cup of water and some green bean cakes he'd bought. I could only manage one piece. My body had no appetite after the fever. He helped me lie down and said he'd step out for a bit. The moment he left, the old lady in the bed across from mine started gushing. Girl, you're so lucky. What a wonderful husband. He hasn't closed his eyes since you got here 2 nights ago. And yesterday he went out and bought you a whole bag of new clothes. Everything from inside to outside. I looked at the foot of my bed. Sure enough, there was a cloth bag. I crawled over and opened it. 2 complete outfits for me, 1 peach pink top, 1 white with blue checks, both in that nice Dacron fabric. 2 pairs of pants, 1 dark blue, 1 black. A pair of black corduroy shoes. And another bundle, 2 full sets of children's clothes and shoes for E. I took a deep breath. This man had good taste, I had to admit. But the kindness made me uncomfortable. I wasn't afraid of terrible men. I was afraid of someone being genuinely good to me. Lovely colors. Your man has great taste, the old lady kept praising. You've got a lucky face, dear. Lucky face? I touched my cheek. Sure, why not? I'd accept that blessing. Chen Mingchuan came back with a bowl of rice porridge and pickled cucumbers. I figured you wouldn't have much appetite. Tonight when you feel better, I'll get you proper rice. He'd also bought me a new toothbrush, toothpaste, and a white enamel cup. Everything new. This man was incredibly thoughtful, and it was making things complicated. Have you eaten? I asked. He seemed surprised I'd asked. I ate this morning. I'll get lunch from the hospital canteen later. After I ate, and I shocked myself by finishing the entire bowl of porridge, the pickled cucumbers really helped. He washed my face and helped me rinse my mouth. Then, he settled me back into bed. Your next 4 isn't until 4. Sleep if you want. I looked at his exhausted face, the dark circles like bruises. I'm not sleepy now. You should sleep. 3 days without rest will shorten your life. I learned some medicine from my grandmother. He paused, then pulled over a wooden reclining chair. If you don't mind, just sleep at the foot of the bed, I offered. It's big enough, he froze. I could practically hear his brain asking if I had intentions. The old lady delivered the final blow. Young man, you can't take care of your wife if you collapse. The bed's plenty wide. Just squeeze in. That chair will dump you on the floor." He had no words. But eventually, he climbed onto the bed. He was probably telling himself, "We're in a hospital. She can't do anything here." What he didn't know was that I had absolutely zero interest in doing anything. If I'd known what he was thinking, I'd have spat blood in his face. "You wish, buddy. I don't sleep with strangers." He fell asleep within minutes, snoring softly. I closed my eyes too, mostly to escape the chatty old lady. But sleep wouldn't come. My mind just kept spinning. With a big man on the bed, the narrow hospital cot suddenly felt tiny. I didn't dare move an inch. I could tell he didn't want me getting too close. So I lay there stiffly, uncomfortable but trying to be considerate. Luckily, the doctor came and took the old lady for some tests. She might have lung cancer, a disease even my research team back in my old life hadn't fully cracked yet. But she didn't know how serious it was, so she went off cheerfully. With the room empty, I sat up and looked around. Green walls, red-painted cement floor, clean enough. Outside the window, a magnolia tree stretched its leaves toward us. Birds were chirping, cicadas screaming their last songs of summer. It was mid-August by the lunar calendar, and the weather was already cooling down. Then my eyes landed on Chun Mingchuan's sleeping face. This was the first time I'd really studied him up close. He was genuinely handsome. High brow bone, thick eyebrows, straight nose, slightly full lips. They say thin-lipped men are heartless. Well, his lips weren't thin, but he hadn't exactly been loving either. His skin was wheat-colored, and even in a simple white short-sleeve shirt, you could see the muscles in his arms, defined and powerful. A real tough guy. In the novel, Chun Mingchuan was the second male lead. The main hero was his colleague, Luo Sibei, a high-ranking official's son who'd studied in Moscow. They worked together developing new artillery, and they were a brilliant team. But later, Luo Sibei's wife Jiang ruined everything. After Dog went missing, Chun Mingchuan buried himself in work and became outstanding. Jiang noticed him and tried to seduce him to get revenge on her cold, arrogant husband. When Chun Mingchuan rejected her and even warned her to stop, she was humiliated. So she stole her husband's research reports, gave them to foreign spies, and framed Chun Mingchuan. He went to prison. He was eventually cleared, but lost the best years of his life.
He was talented, yes.
But his neglect had also indirectly killed the original Li Xinhua. I wasn't going to love who she loved or hate who she hated. We had no real connection. But for my son's sake, I'd warn him about Jiang Yi when the time came. I couldn't let Yi have a father in prison. When the doctor came to set up my afternoon 4, I didn't wake Chun Mingchuan. He slept straight through until 6 o'clock. When he opened his eyes and saw the sky darkening, he was shocked at himself. Apparently, he'd been having the same dream for 3 years, a longevity lock around his neck, choking him. But this time, for the first time, he'd slept peacefully with no nightmare at all. At dinner, the hospital food was bland and tasteless. He bought me an extra dish, green peppers with pork. There was barely any meat, but I split some into his bowl before I'd used my chopsticks. "I don't need it."
"You eat," he said.
The old lady jumped in immediately. "Young man, you must eat meat every day in the army. When you eat it daily, it stops tasting good anyway." Chun Mingchuan's face twitched. He ended up putting a few pieces of meat into the old lady's bowl instead. She beamed like she'd won the lottery. All my military men are truly different. So polite and kind. Girl, you're so fortunate. Honestly, for a country girl to have this kind of luck is really rare. Country girl. So basically, she was saying I wasn't good enough for him. I laughed inside. Someday, I'd make the whole world's jaws drop. Me, a genius who earned her doctorate at 20, not good enough for a rough soldier?
Please.
But there was no point arguing with a chatty old lady. After dinner, I walked around the hallway to avoid more conversation. When I came back, Chun Mingchuan had fetched a bucket of hot water and pulled a wooden basin from under the bed. "You can wipe yourself down with this." "No showers yet, you're still too weak." The wooden basin was new, he'd bought it just for me. The bucket and foot basin were borrowed from a military friend, but the washing basin was new because he figured I wouldn't want to use someone else's. This man really was thoughtful. He bought new towels too. I had to admit. He wasn't terrible in every way. I washed up in the bathroom, came back, and found hot water already poured into the foot basin for me. The doctor said soaking your feet will help you recover. He was right. The penicillin here couldn't compare to the antibiotics from my era. I started thinking, once I got to the military base, I'd find a way to visit a major pharmacy in the provincial capital. I had drug formulas in my head. If the technology here could produce them, that could be my way to make money. You couldn't do business in this era without being called a speculator, but selling your own creation should be allowed. I put my feet in the water. A bit hot. Too hot. A little. I can handle it. The old lady chimed in again. Girl, I never had this kind of treatment in my whole life. When I was young, my mother-in-law watched everything. My husband was too timid to pamper me. After the in-laws died, he forgot how. And now he's been in the ground for years. I'll never know what this feels like. Chen Mingchuan handed me a towel and actually responded to her. She's sick, that's all. She lost her mother young and my mom's hand is injured, so I'm the only one to look after her. But you're blessed too, Auntie, sons and daughters both. After he left to shower, I fell asleep fast. But mosquitoes woke me at midnight. I sat up annoyed and startled him. He was curled up on the wooden chair again. What's wrong? Bathroom. I stared at him. The chair is more comfortable than the bed? Or are you worried about something? Relax. I'm not great at much, but I keep my promises. He said nothing. I was getting irritated. If he hated the original Li Xinyu so much, why not just let her die? Why act so caring? There are mosquitoes everywhere. Do you have mosquito coils? He jumped up, caught the mosquitoes, then fanned me with a hand fan. Fine. I'd take the service and not complain about where he slept. Just then, voices came from the hallway. A man was scolding a woman who was moaning in pain. Stop whining. I'm not a doctor. If you keep this up, I'll leave you here alone. The old lady woke up and explained. That's a woman from Wang village with gallstones. She's had 3 children and her body's wrecked. The surgeon went to the provincial capital for training, so nobody can operate on her. She just has to endure the pain. And her husband? All he does is yell at her. Gallstone surgery, 3 hours tops, a tiny incision. For me, that was nothing. But my body was too weak right now, and even if it weren't, no one would let a random village woman walk into an operating room. They'd think I was crazy. Still, the old lady had a point. Compared to that man out there, Chen Mingchuan's version of bad was practically saintly. I fell back asleep. When I woke up, he was already gone. Your man went to buy breakfast. Don't worry, he'll be back soon, the old lady told me. I secretly rolled my eyes. She made it sound like I couldn't survive without him. Auntie, is nobody coming to stay with you today? Her face fell. They should come. My surgery isn't until tomorrow. She was chatty and a bit greedy, but not a bad person. A 70-year-old woman alone in a hospital. That was genuinely sad. They'll come, Auntie. If not tonight, definitely tomorrow morning. She brightened a little and started talking about work points. Her production team paid 7 Mao 8 per 10 points, the highest in the whole brigade. That was actually impressive. I'd heard stories at the orphanage about teams where 10 points were worth only 7 fun. Then she said something that made me pay attention. You know, girl, what matters most for a woman is marrying well. The woman next door? She killed herself last night. Her husband didn't find her until morning. She'd collapsed in the bathroom. The old lady told me something shocking. The woman with gallstones next door had killed herself last night. Her husband didn't find her until morning, collapsed in the bathroom. The doctors had already given up trying to save her. So you see, girl, the old lady sighed, money doesn't matter. What matters is marrying a good man. That poor woman was worked to death at home, cursed by her mother-in-law, beaten by her husband. She just couldn't take it anymore. Then she looked at me with that knowing smile again. Your man is one of the good ones. Count your blessings, dear. Was I blessed? This man wasn't even really mine. A man whose heart didn't belong to me. I didn't want him. Chen Mingchuan came back with breakfast. Porridge, steamed buns, pickled vegetables, plus 1 poached egg.
Just 1 and it was for me.
The doctor says you can be discharged today. I'll return the borrowed things and handle the paperwork. Need me to buy anything? I was broke. This hospital stay must have cost a lot. No thanks. Just give me the bill later. He looked at me without speaking. Didn't say he would, didn't say he wouldn't. Just stared at me until I felt uncomfortable. Then he left to return the basin and bucket. The room went quiet. Then I heard crying from next door, a woman screaming in pain. An older woman's voice begged her son-in-law to find the doctor. The man explained that the antibiotics were already being used and pain injections couldn't keep going. His wife had mastitis. Her milk ducts were blocked after giving birth. I knew this condition well. If the ducts stayed blocked, the inflammation would get worse and worse. Just anti-inflammatory drugs wouldn't fix it. The root cause had to be treated. Thinking about the woman who'd killed herself last night, I walked over to help. Is it blocked milk ducts? I asked. The room had a man in his 30s by the window, a middle-aged woman at the bedside, and a young mother crying on the bed with a 2-month-old baby beside her. The older woman's eyes lit up. Girl, you know about this, I nodded calmly. My grandmother's ancestors served as imperial physicians. There's a massage technique that can unblock the ducts. But I'll need acupuncture needles. Can you borrow some? The mother-in-law sent her son-in-law running to find the hospital director. I sat down and felt the young woman's chest, hard as a rock. No wonder she was in agony. I began massaging gently, working through the technique. Then something strange happened. As I focused, I felt something flowing from my fingertips, like energy. Wherever my hands went, the hardness started softening. I moved faster, amazed at what was happening. The husband came back with silver needles and a female doctor named Dr. Jiang. She was suspicious. Who are you? Just a patient from next door. I know a bit of massage. The young woman, Zhang Li, spoke up. Dr. Jiang, I'm not in pain anymore. This girl is really skilled. Dr. Jiang was surprised. When I explained I wanted to use acupuncture to fully open the blocked ducts, she looked skeptical. You're sure about this? There's no danger in trying. No doctor can guarantee 100% success. You know that better than anyone. She agreed to let me try. Zhang Li was grateful and willing. I did the acupuncture, followed by more massage, then hot compresses. Zhang Li was 25, an accountant at the department store. Her husband Huang Xingli was 32, a purchasing manager at the county pharmaceutical factory, and his father was a local official. This was his second marriage. His first wife had been a city girl who abandoned him and their daughter 2 years ago. After Dr. Jiang and Zhang Li's mother left the room, I leaned in close and quietly told Zhang Li what she needed to do at home to keep the ducts clear. Her face turned bright red. Can't the baby do it instead? I shook my head. The baby's too small, not enough suction power. And right now the milk has medication and inflammation in it. You can't let the baby drink that. She understood, even though she was embarrassed. Some things just had to be done. Zhang Li was embarrassed about what I'd told her to do. She was a first-time mother and couldn't imagine the scene. But I had to be blunt. Sister Zhang, if these ducts stay blocked, it could lead to breast cancer. Don't be shy about this. That scared her enough. She called her husband in, and his strength did the trick. The ducts opened, the inflammation went down, and within an hour she was smiling again. Half a bowl of milk flowed out. Her mother rushed in, overjoyed. Oh my girl, thank you so much. My daughter has been suffering for 2 months. Every few days it flares up and the doctors can't fix it. I smiled. Annie, I'm not a young girl. My son is almost 5. She couldn't believe it.
Zhang Li jumped in.
Mom, her name is Li Xinhua. She's 2 years younger than me, but already married. Her husband's a military officer. She's my little sister now. Huang Xingli, Zhang Li's husband, was genuinely grateful. As a purchasing manager at the county pharmaceutical factory, he recognized real skill when he saw it. And having a military officer as a brother-in-law didn't hurt either. Sister, from today I'm your big brother-in-law. Whatever you need, just ask. This was exactly the opening I'd been hoping for. During my conversation with Zhang Li, I'd picked up some very useful information. Brother-in-law, does your factory buy herbal ingredients? He caught on immediately. If you're the one bringing them, absolutely. What does your factory produce? 7 or 8 different medicines. Do you make anything from fresh bamboo sap? That's one of our biggest products. Our quality is famous across the whole province. My heart started racing. This area was covered in bamboo. It grew everywhere on hillsides, behind houses, along the fields. Big bamboo belonged to the collective, but the small wild bamboo? Nobody wanted it. Selling unclaimed natural resources wasn't considered illegal speculation. Brother-in-law, I know how to extract bamboo oil. Can I sell it to your factory? Zhongli answered before her husband could. Of course. Shimli handles all the raw material purchasing. Whatever you bring, he'll buy it all, he nodded. We currently import bamboo oil from other provinces at 2.5 per caddy for standard quality. You bring it, I'll take it. 2.5 per caddy. Burning small bamboo all day could yield dozens of caddies. That was way more money than earning work points. I could practically see the bills flying toward me. Don't judge me for thinking small. I was completely broke. But this connection wasn't for me. It was for the original Li Xinyue's third aunt, the woman who'd been half mother, half companion to her. I was leaving soon, and I wanted to repay her kindness before I went. Zhang Li's mother pressed a handkerchief bundle into my hands. Xinyue, this is a small token. You saved my daughter. You must take it. I needed the money, and I'd earned it honestly. Thank you, Auntie. Then I noticed her white hair. She was only 47 but looked 10 years older. Annie, I know some herbs that can turn your hair black again. Let me prepare them and bring them to you. 1 wash a month will keep new growth dark. It's all natural, completely safe. Her eyes went wide. She was a small leader at the supply cooperative, and her premature white hair was her biggest insecurity. Really? You can do that. I'll bring it in a few days. You'll see for yourself. She was thrilled. And I had what I really needed. A reliable buyer at a pharmaceutical factory. That was a money-making channel I could pass on to third aunt. Chen Mingchuan appeared at the door, looking confused. He'd been gone 2 hours, and suddenly I had a new family. I explained simply. Sister Zhang had mastitis after giving birth. I happened to know how to treat it, so I helped. He stared at me. You know medicine? My grandmother taught me to recognize herbs and memorize folk remedies when I was small. I just haven't practiced in a long time, so my hands are a bit rusty. He looked at me like he was seeing me for the first time. Chen Mingchuan looked at me differently now. I didn't know your grandmother practiced medicine. I shrugged. There's a lot you don't know. Her great-grandfather was an imperial physician in the palace. Did you know that either? His mouth fell open. How much did you learn? Enough. Just haven't used it in a while, so I'm a bit rusty. Are the discharge papers done? Yes, we can go. We were about to leave when Dr. Jiang came running over. Shaoli, our hospital director wants to invite you for tea. I looked at her. She seemed sincere. So I agreed. The director's office was on the 3rd floor. No elevator, just stairs. Chen Mingchuan tried to support me, but I waved him off. Dr. Jiang slowed her pace for me, and we made it up. Director Zhang greeted us warmly. When Chen Mingchuan introduced himself as an active-duty soldier from a division, the director's eyes lit up even more. Military family. Instant respect. Dr. Jiang told me you cured a mastitis case that our entire hospital couldn't solve for 2 months, he said. That's truly remarkable. Shaoli, would you be interested in working here? Me, a medical doctorate holder, working as a temporary employee at a county hospital? I knew exactly how temporary workers were treated. Take the blame when things go wrong, get no credit when things go right. I'm sorry, Director Zhang. I'll be transferring to the provincial capital soon with my husband's military unit. But thank you for the offer. He was disappointed. Mastitis and blocked milk ducts were a huge problem everywhere, not just here. If someone with my skills could work alongside the hospital's Western medicine doctors, they'd be pioneers in the whole province. Then an idea came to me. Director Zhang, my acupuncture and massage techniques come from imperial palace traditions. Does your hospital have doctors trained in acupuncture? He nodded cautiously. You're clearly someone who genuinely cares about helping people. I'd be willing to share my techniques and methods with your hospital. He was stunned. He turned to Chen Mingchuan. Comrade, do you support your wife's proposal? Chen Mingchuan straightened up. Absolutely. Good knowledge should serve the people. I'm proud of my wife's high ideological awareness. The director was ecstatic. He called an emergency meeting with his deputy directors. Within the hour, they had a deal. He introduced me to Zhao Cheng, a graduate from the traditional Chinese medicine college who already knew acupuncture and massage basics. He'd be my student. Shaoli, we've all discussed it. Your needlework techniques, massage methods, and folk remedies. The hospital will pay 200 yuan per formula as a thank you. I hope you won't think it's too little. 200 yuan per formula. In this era, having 100 yuan made you wealthy. My techniques were worth far more than that. They were the product of decades of research for my future life, and combined with Western medicine, they could even help treat cancer. But 200 yuan per formula was incredible money for right now. Thank you, Director Zhang. I'll do my best. I wasn't being a saint, but I was happy to let my knowledge help ordinary people.
And the money?
That was going to change everything for me and my son. Zhao Cheng, the doctor assigned to learn from me, was about 24, round face, a bit chubby, gold-rimmed glasses that didn't make him look any more refined. He bowed to me eagerly.
Teacher.
I'll study hard. I trained plenty of students in my past life. In medicine, there's no male or female, just doctors and patients. Dr. Zhao, let's learn from each other. Director Zhang, I need to prepare. Teaching starts tomorrow. No problem at all. Director Zhang arranged for us to stay at the county guest house, the best room, all expenses covered. He even gave us meal money and food coupons. Once we settled in, Chen Mingchuan asked how long this would take. Depends on Dr. Zhao's learning speed. I need to draw acupuncture point diagrams first, then check his existing technique. He already studied traditional medicine, so he knows the basics of massage and acupuncture. It's mainly about mastering the exact pressure points and force. 2 or 3 days should be enough. Chen Mingchuan watched me with a strange look. He's a male doctor learning to treat women's conditions. Is that appropriate? I stared at him. Chen Mingchuan, since when do doctors care about gender? If a woman is dying and only a male doctor is available, do you just let her die? That's old-fashioned feudal thinking. As a soldier, your ideological level needs serious improvement. He shut up after that. When I sat down to work, he poured me water, told me he was going out, and left. I spent the whole afternoon drawing detailed acupuncture charts and writing out herbal formulas. Around 4 o'clock, Chen Mingchuan came back. Almost done? Want me to get food from the state restaurant? I stretched. No, I want to walk around. Let's eat out together. At the restaurant, I ordered braised pork, braised fish, egg soup, and vegetables. Order whatever you want, my treat. I had money now, and it felt good. He said it was already too much food for 2 people, and he was right. I couldn't waste food in an era where people went hungry. When the dishes came, the taste was just okay. But after days of hospital porridge, fish and meat tasted like heaven. Then I noticed he wasn't eating the meat. Why aren't you eating? I prefer vegetables. You eat, liar. In an era when everyone craved meat, nobody preferred vegetables. I grabbed the plate and dumped half the braised pork into his bowl. Don't give me that. You've worked hard these past few days taking care of me. I'm not a great person, but I'm not ungrateful either. Let's stop dwelling on the past and just be friends going forward. Friends? He frowned but didn't argue.
He had a child now.
Could he really divorce? Leave his son without a father or mother?
No.
He'd deal with this later. The meal cost 7 yuan 50, almost the entire 10 yuan Director Zhang had given us. I rubbed my belly happily. If only every day could be like this. We walked back slowly to digest. Along the way, we strolled by the river running through town. It was peaceful. Back at the guest house, I kept working until I finished writing out all the formulas.
Done.
Time for bed, then I froze. 1 room, 1 bed. How are we going to sleep? Chen Mingchuan had already washed up. He'd prepared hot water for my bath and laid out all my toiletries. After I took the longest bath possible, stalling for time, I came out and found him lying on the cement floor. You're sleeping on the ground. It's fine. During missions, I've slept in caves and up in trees. That was survival, not choice. I sighed. Get on the bed. This is the ground floor. Bugs, ants, and mosquitoes will eat you alive down there. I looked him straight in the eye.
Relax.
I don't love you anymore. I won't force myself on you. But if you're still worried about your virtue, then suit yourself. He was speechless. Eventually, he climbed into bed. Your hand must be sore from writing all afternoon. Want me to massage it? That was unexpectedly sweet, but too intimate. No thanks. I just want to sleep. I thought I'd lie awake with a man next to me, but I'd underestimated how exhausted this body was. Full stomach, long day, I was out within minutes.